So did you know that around 200 million people could have to be displaced by 2050? I got that scary fact from the International Organization on Migration. We as a society need to make the switch to green energy rather than to continue to rely on fossil fuels for almost all of our energy. First part of what I'm going to speak about is why we need to make this switch. Our ecosystems are not doing so well. Next, I'll explain what we can do to make this change and who will be in charge of the oversight. And lastly, I'll help us envision what everything will look like once we've actually made the changes and implemented them. With this in mind, let's discuss what issues non-renewable energy has caused. So non-renewable energy severely affects our planet and is the leading cause of climate change, ocean acidification, and air pollution. These cause sickness in our population, kill animals, and can pollute our drinking water. According to the United Nations website, fossil fuels are responsible for about 75% of greenhouse gas emissions and 90% of CO2 emissions. These emissions are the leading cause of climate change, which is then the leading cause of a whole host of other issues. Global warming is undeniable, and the Earth is heating up faster than it has ever been in recorded history. Global warming is what causes sea levels to rise, and if it were to ever become too severe, it could flood many coastal cities and areas. Climate change also causes severe weather events such as thunderstorms and more frequent hurricanes due to hurricanes feeding off warm ocean water. This information came from climatechange.gov. Another way that fossil fuels hurt the planet is because it causes ocean acidification. This is because CO2 from the air dissolves into the ocean, which lowers its pH and makes it more acidic. Ocean acidification is the reason that our coral reefs are slowly starting to die out. The calcium carbonate in the coral skeleton has its growth slowed the more that the ocean becomes acidic. Reefs are home to many fish, and without these reefs, many of them would die out and we lose species. Now, what are we going to have to do about this issue, and how are we going to make change? In order to fix this issue, we are likely going to have to reach the highest form of government, the federal government, where they'll have to issue a green energy mandate. We already have something like this, but it's pretty lax, and we have to increase how much energy comes from renewable resources. Voting, protests, and educating the public are all ways that we can make a change and influence the government. If enough people were to vote against how much we use non-renewable energy, I believe that it could make a sufficient difference and an impact on the government and lead to some real change. Protests are another way that we could make change. Many people already do protest these issues, and widespread protests in the past have led to differences. However, educating the public is another good way that we can help increase voting and making sure people view the issue as something serious. So, for the renewable energy that we'll have to use, we'll probably have to focus on nuclear energy, solar energy. Nuclear energy is considered clean energy, and probably one of the only ways that we meet the goals for clean energy. A nuclear reactor produces around 1 gigawatt of electricity, according to energy.gov, and we have the resources to make more. Solar energy is another good renewable energy source because the sun never runs out of energy. Solar panels are becoming more efficient, and why not make use of an energy source that can be conveniently placed on our roofs? This information was from the Energy Information Administration. To get to my last point, I will explain what it could look like if we move towards green energy. There would be so many positives that we could see from moving towards green energy, such as global warming decreasing, the acidification of the ocean slowing, and less health issues from polluted air and polluted water. In a world where we would not have to worry about fossil fuels, there would be other issues that we could focus on. Plants and animals would likely see some kind of resurgence in areas that were previously affected by pollution from these non-renewable resources. We could focus on finding cheaper ways to produce energy and use the excess money to fund infrastructure and other public programs, things that help our people. And we would most likely have better weather conditions and healthier people as a whole. As we talked about earlier, hurricanes feed off that warm water, so the weather patterns would be better because the sea levels would decrease and the temperatures wouldn't be records every year. People would be healthier because there would be less smog and unclean air and unclean water, and respiratory issues, which is your lungs, would see probably some decline because the polluted air wouldn't be an issue anymore. So now, knowing that this could be a reality, we have to do something about it. I explained what our society looks like now, with non-renewable resources being so common. Then what we need to do in order to actually make change, and lastly, what it could be after we switch to green energy. So I'm asking you to go and vote, try to make a change, even if it feels small. We have to do everything we can to make the government find importance in green energy. So green energy is going to be extremely important when fossil fuels run out, and we need to expedite this process and move towards green energy.